All right, we're live.
We're live.
We're live. It's very awesome.
It is. I don't know if I got allergies, but I keep waking up with just a bunch of, I don't know. My airways are blocked and I need them to be clear. But we're live. I just like
How's the
sharing
weather?
one little thing. How's the weather? Buffalo's been just doing this. So I don't know. I step outside and I honestly I wouldn't be surprised if it was snowing outside right now. Yesterday it was like downpouring at one point and then it was really sunny. So who knows?
Yeah, it's
We're in
super
that
cold
weird
in
time.
Missouri.
Got it. Okay, so this probably is super cold outside. Um, but
Yeah, last couple days here we had a temperature drop. We had a few thunderstorms and some rain and stuff. But yeah, today's like the high of 50 and low of 32. So like there's actually a freeze or frost warning too, which is fun.
yeah, I think the other day was like high like 72 and low 40. Just like you can't plan around that. I don't know when it's gonna be. It's 40 to 48. Actually, that's pretty good. Can't
Yeah.
complain about that.
So we're back. It's
We
Sunday.
are.
I think we have a problem that we're solving, right?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors. We're trying to
We were
score
doing
a
rock, paper, scissors. I remember we were right on the cusp of a beautiful refactoring. Um, I think. And we're gonna figure it out. But I'm excited. So it looks like we
let's
were scoring on the outcome. Um, if we win or lose or draw in the round, just from our discovery tree here.
Yeah, we could probably spend some time separating those out, but I think we were working on one of the wins or draws because we technically have everything lose with everything adding zero. But,
Let's
looking at the
separate it out.
discovery tree now. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Do do. Thank you. That was a
We're a
guess.
little bit, meh.
All right.
We'll make those. Actually, I think mine is orange. Right now we're kind of adding green by default, so it's like a
Yeah,
weird thing we've
totally. And
done.
I think three for draws we were working on, but we'll look at where we left off.
Yeah.
Um, and for those joining, yeah, we're doing day 2 of Advent of Code. Um, and that problem is basically we get a fun encrypted little rock paper scissors game, and we have to figure out the score.
Hmm.
And we've spent a decent amount of time building, kind of figuring out the problem. We're in a pretty good spot to hopefully finish it today.
Yeah. So yeah, this is
All right.
day 2 of 2022. Super easy way to find it.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the code.
All right. We did a good thing last week, if I remember correctly, which was put in. Oh yeah, your run tab's not there. Put in a
What? Yeah.
failing or a skipped test. Skipped test.
Yeah. We have is paper shape.
Expect is paper to be true. Okay. Well,
Oh.
is it actually failing or did we skip it and it was true? Okay, good. Good past us's.
Yeah, we skipped it because we didn't want to break the build, even though there's no build here. It's still good practice to at least
Yeah.
have a quick way to not break the build, but give us a good documentation of where we're at.
And it's something we like to do in in an actual production system sometimes. Like if I was writing code by myself, sometimes I would just have a failing test. There's not a lot of times of doing that though. When we're actually working on a production system, you don't want to break the build, but you might want to have some way to remember what you were doing Friday afternoon, Monday morning. Sometimes a fail or a skipped test is an easy way to be like, huh? What is that? And it just jogs your memory a little bit. But okay.
Yeah.
I
Well,
assume
so we
is
have this.
papers. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say we have our shape class,
Mhm.
in which we have our hand shape enum. And so you said we were on the cusp of a refactor. I think we were trying to kind of wrap this shape class into giving us some niceties around looking at our code of is it equal to shape and is it equal to scissors and kind of giving us some nice kind of domain design to our code, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah, if you scroll up, the class we had above was round, and we realized there was a lot of cohesive logic. More of the round has two shapes that kind of go into it, the opponent's shape and our shape. And yeah, we were realizing a lot of the logic was more cohesive towards shapes itself, so we started to extract that out. I think a lot of this came from line 17 and 18. We're like, it would be really nice to say is paper, but round dot is paper doesn't make any sense.
Yep. And then we also started, I think we copied these over as duplicates to say, well, if you're a shape, you should know your own score, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
So these will eventually go away. Looks like we have some refactoring there to clean up, but we do have a failing test of is paper hard coded to false.
All right, make that true.
Yeah, so if
Yay. So
we go
nobody's
the
using that
simple route,
logic.
yep,
Yep.
woohoo. Make is paper pass as simple as possible. So there I have a shortcut git cm is git commit with message. So all I have to do is type in. Uh, for those of you following along with that command, I should probably type them out, but that's okay. And
That's
then push that. So we probably want to write a triangulation test around is paper. So it
yep.
is not paper.
All right.
I would love to copy this and just say rock, and I'm gonna.
Do scissors too? Sure. Yeah, that's fine. You have
They're
two
so.
B. Ooh.
Oh, all the same, right? I mean, rocks are papers and papers scissors. All good. All right, well, that's a failing test, so I'm gonna hand it off to you.
I'm so glad I was sorry, in the back of my mind I was thinking they have to be true, and I believe there is there's not. So I'm so glad I added false because to write to not be true would be too much of a headache. But okay, let's do it. Return this dot shape equals hand shape dot paper. And that's just running the one test. I'm going to go back to running all of them. Yay! All right. Correctly implement is paper. All right. So let's just do the next shape.
I think so. Do we want to make one test for the next shape and just say correctly identifies rock and with 3 lines? Is that too noisy? Just an experiment,
Yeah,
just an
I was
idea, just
gonna.
thoughts.
Yeah, I was thinking there's two ways we could do it. We could either say is paper and then have the like have it just say. So this is my idea, which is similar to yours, which is basically we say in here rock, or sorry. Notice how we're creating a shape every time.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to extract a variable here. Two occurrences. We'll call it paper. So paper is paper to be true. Paper dot is rocks. What we wanted to do next?
Yeah, sure, why not?
To be false. So I was thinking, why don't we just say is paper, and then it can also check its identity. That way we don't have to create 9 shapes. We could just create 3. It's a little bit easier. That sound cool?
Yeah, And actually, you got me with that new paper, new shape paper. Why don't we make a paper constant?
That's a good
Like
idea.
you could make a static, but yeah, we are in red now because this rock is there, so we'll go there. But that's what the light bulb hit, and I was like, yeah, why don't we just have shape dot paper, and it returns us a static shape.
And let me
Um,
maybe we'll finish this just sort of refactor, which is rock, and then is scissors shape.
love it.
And then we can, right now we haven't implemented everything, but that's still fine. Okay. And then now we're at a failing test. So if you want to take it over, sir.
Create that method is rock, and I'm gonna say return false.
Mm-hmm.
And that passes.
Cool. And I think we got the pattern here, if you want to just go for it.
Yep, we'll do. Do one quick check in just in case I
Yeah.
screw up a bunch, but uh, simple implement of is rock. All right, so I want to extract.
Oh, you did the same thing as me.
Yeah, it means we need to start using our tools more. So option up gives me scope selection.
Oh, see, I didn't know
Uh,
that.
so we want rock is rock, and then I'm gonna go ahead and uh, scissors is rock. We want to change this to be true, and that'll give us a failing test.
Nice. Yep.
I think it's just going to be that
There we
quick.
go.
Why did it only? Here we go.
Cool. That is definitely in checking. Now we've got our pattern set in place. I like having these methods is paper is rock rather than checking some data property everywhere. Because then if you ever change that data property, now you have to change every single implementation of it.
Yep.
So while is rock and is paper and is scissors may seem overkill, it actually allows you're encapsulating that state a lot better, that data.
Yeah. Do you want to go ahead and fully implement his scissors? I think we
Yeah,
have
yeah, we can do that.
a real quick.
So boom is okay. This is where is scissors. I really don't want to spell scissors wrong for some reason. I'm wondering if my like elementary school English teacher yelled at me a lot for not being able to spell. I really, I'm terrible at spelling, but two, I really care that I'm terrible at spelling, even though I won't learn how to spell. Uh, okay, so if I run all these tests, we want scissors to be true. We want the other ones to be false. And all of them fail because they're not returning anything. And yeah, I could just,
Just,
go in here and just do this. But
I think you're fine. Yeah.
we're totally
Let's
fine.
use
At
that.
this point, we've got a nice little pattern. This is a small enough step that I feel safe to do it again. Cool. All right. Then we're going to say git add, git commit, and we're going to
Implement is
implement
scissors. Yeah.
is scissors.
And just a
All
reminder, because we
right.
haven't said it in a while, our git commit message is applying this commit will, and we try to finish that sentence.
Yep. So if we look at like some of these, we say applying this commit will add simple implement of his rock. Applying this commit will implement his rock. Applying this commit will implement his scissors. Applying this commit will make is paper pass as simple as possible. So there's no right way to do git commit messages. I like that way. But again, it depends on whatever standard everybody agrees on.
So I would love to make these
Shape
some
dot
static
scissors,
concepts.
shape dot rock.
Yeah.
Yep, I like that idea.
So it is a
So
static
I'm sure if you actually just go
rock.
and try using it on line 29, I think it'll just work.
So if we want to say shape dot scissors, create field static scissors, and this is new. No, not abstract new. And
Hand shape dot rock. You it's because it's a field,
yeah.
not a method. So
We don't need a method though, right? Can we not
yeah,
just?
yeah. Yep. It's just because of the colon, that's why. There you go.
Oh, because the colon was trying to type it.
It was, yeah. You have hand shape spell yeah. Okay.
I love that. So I'm gonna say shape dot rock,
Yep.
and we know it's a type shape. It's going to be new shape shape dot rock, and cut shape dot paper.
Because these are immutable, this is a mutable class, really. This is totally safe to have these static sort of singleton scissors, rock, and paper objects.
Yeah, and it'll be really nice
Otherwise,
cleanup. It'll kind of hide this enum, which will be really cool.
yeah, agreed.
So we're going to commit this. Introduces static. Static what? Static constants? Static implementations? I don't know. What do you want to call it?
Um, you are basically, I mean, it's making paper like make shape um singleton objects. They're singletons is unliked as a pattern as singleton is. They are singleton objects.
Sweet. So I think we have this, but I'm looking that we don't actually have. Oh yeah, we have our score. So I'm thinking our next refactor should be. Let's add them over here. Let's change
Yeah, let's
these
do
to
it. We can
shapes.
throw out basically that shape rock map and all that stuff. So yeah, I think instead of taking in a hand shape, we wanted to take in a shape itself,
Yeah,
which again is probably a pretty big change. So I know first time we started working on this, we introduced the concept of parallel changes. I think we should do a parallel change for
sure.
both. Um,
I just did that refactor, so I think it's your turn.
yeah, let's do it. So again, we can even test drive the parallel change here. So what we really want to do is on every single one of these. Oh yeah, we have shape here. Perfect. For every single one of these fields. Oh, oh no. Parameterized tests are gonna be fun to change. We're basically gonna want to make this our shape, our new shape. I don't know. How do we want to do this? I'm trying to think what's the best way. Um, because our shape constructor still takes in um the hand shape, I think it actually might be as a first a small vertical of we just call new shape here and here, and then at least then we can change the internals, and then we could commit that, and then we could come back to the test, and then if we wanted to make this use the shape dot rock and shape dot paper I think that'd be a small way of slicing this up, if you're cool with that.
Sure, sure.
So that would mean we just go in here and say this. Oh, sorry, that's not a parallel change. What am I doing? Now we can add just two more constructor arguments here. So we say new shape, R shape, new shape, opponent shape.
And you want the second one, change constructor.
Yeah, that's really weird that it what the first one is. That just confused me. Okay, cool. So we
Hmm.
changed the constructor. Technically, we only had one constructor in our production code, which is pretty cool too.
I
Um,
think JavaScript only allows one constructor, right?
sorry, I meant one constructor usage. And
Ah,
that's the one. So the one benefit of us having this parameterized test, again, if I look down, there's only this one constructor usage right here on line 54. So doing this actually made the change even easier. So we added it. I could commit at this point. I'm okay continuing just because that was just 2 lines, but um,
yeah.
we now can come in here and do
I think
this.
it's a really good call out because you're saying this is a small change, but I think in real world, if we were on a bigger team, I think we would vote to commit here because we love continuous integration and trunk-based development, and so we want to make sure um, we can get it in and share the love as fast as possible.
New shape. Um,
Oh,
new
you can
shape.
totally just keep going. I agree with you that it's a small change, but I was saying just trying to point out differences. If we were in a real team environment,
Yeah.
we'd
You know
probably
what? It was
lean
11
towards
lines of
committing.
changes. I think I like having small. I'm circle backing. I'm actually going to do that because I do think that was worth it. Now we have unused parameters. What we want to do now. Well, first, shape is a bad name. Maybe we should call this again our shape, our new shape. How about that?
Yeah,
And then opponent, opponent, new shape. Again, renames not used.
I actually had a really interesting idea, and we don't have to pivot
Yeah.
back, but um, I think a previous version of me would have, instead of introduced these as constructor arguments, I probably would have just newed them up in the constructor. So I would have said our shape
Oh yeah,
equals
yeah.
and then slowly refactor like, well, there's no reason to just new it up in our constructor. Let's pass it forward. And so that would have been a really interesting, different way to approach the same thing. And it's kind of parallel, but you don't expose the parallelism until you want to promote it. Um,
I like. Yeah, that's a. You're thinking the same way I was thinking with the vertical of like what's the small way because we want to upgrade. We want to update both the internal usage, getting rid of the duplication, and then it would be really nice to also make clients not have to know by handshake. And those are two separate changes. And I think the way that we're doing this today, we kind of did both at the same time. But we were able to at least not have to change these test cases yet. But that is a very smart idea. Um, another smart way of doing it. But okay, so now in this case, our shape score. Well, our new shape has a score in it, so we could literally just go in here and say this dot our new shape dot score. Run the test. That worked.
awesome.
I'm going to commit and add, and why don't we rotate with that too? So use new shape class to get score in round. All right.
Very awesome. Looking here, no, click the nice Git helper. I'm thinking I see two things. Obviously, this is unused, but I also see two usages here, and it got very simplified. I almost just want to inline this. We good to inline that real quick?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just because I think it's super simple, and it
Two
also
use.
shows that this is unused. So I think a quick bit
Yep.
of cleanup there makes that really nice.
Yeah, look at that.
And I'll do a Control R. Remove, and I will say inline function and remove our map from round. That's first, and then yeah, here's our next opponent's shape. So where do we see our opponent shapes at?
Yeah, it looks like
Well,
we're just using it to know what it is. So we could basically say opponent new shape dot is paper.
yeah.
Oh man, this is gonna clean the code up so much. This dot opponent new shape.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Oh, equals. We don't have
Ooh,
equals. Oh, oh, we don't have equals. Okay, so that's fine. This is another reason why doing this as a parallel change is safer because we might actually have not fully identified the like polymorphic interface that we're looking for here.
yeah. So let's recognize that we want uh determines.
But before we do that, I think you had some changes. Can
I
we finish
did
up?
like
Just do line 11. Line 11 is also line 11 scissors. That way, the only change we have
aha.
left is equality. And let's run the test just to make sure there's no changes. Okay, cool.
Look at
Now I think
that. It
that's
even moved it to one line. Man.
yeah, totally agree. Now I think that's a commit, and now we can we'll add equality to our shape object, and then we'll add it here, and then we should be done with the refactor.
All right. I will. That was two commits for me, but I want to write the failing test because I think it's
Yeah, yeah, go
fun to
for it.
give you a failing test. Determines equality. I'm going to expect shape dot rock dot equals.
Shape that rock.
Uh, doesn't matter. Yeah.
We gotta do both
To
cases for
be.
sure.
Yep. Do we want to go ahead and write the three lines for rock? Like follow the same pattern?
Um, let's start off with this. We're already at red, so I can take it over
Okay.
now.
You want to hit
And
Control R just to show us that we're at red? I know we're at red because
yep,
we're not building, but
yep, and
hey,
it doesn't build. So now we're going to create the equals method, and then we're going to return true. Okay, and just to make sure that it actually, fails, turn false.
just
See,
for the
we're
right
good.
reason. Yep.
Got it there. And yeah, we will just commit there for a sec. So introduce hard-coded equals method on shape. Okay. Um, okay, and then yeah, I like your idea of we'll do basically. So I know this is now the test is testing more than one thing, but I think I like the pattern here of seeing it kind of just makes it so it's easier to make sure that we're testing all the cases.
Hmm.
I'm good with doing that too. So then we're at a failing test, rock equals paper. So if you want to take it,
Do you want to add that third case too? Just because again, it's easy.
yeah, dupe, scissors. There we go.
Nice. All right. So I want to rename this to other shape
Okay.
instead of rock, and I think it is this dot shape is triple equals this dot other. Nope, other shape. Not this dot other shape
Shape.
dot shape.
Tab is just
Not helping me today, for
no.
sure.
Yay. All right.
Correctly implement
Yep.
equals. All right. Now, do we want to backfill tests for rock or for paper and scissors? I'm kind of good at
Yeah,
no, but
I'm okay either way. Like I think we have the triangulation. I'm okay either way. So I let's keep it like this then, so we can move on.
Yep. So this
Okay.
becomes
This dot R
this
shape
dot.
equals, or yeah, that way.
Do we want? I was gonna
Opponent
say, do we?
new shape.
Ah,
Opponent new.
yes.
This dot R shape. Oh, our new shape.
Look at that. So changing that line, all the tests pass. And that'll just read so much easier.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
very
exactly.
awesome.
That's a tie. All right, I think that's a good commit, and now we've got dead code.
And I actually really like that you just said is. So it's just. Can we just save this really quick? This dot is
Oh,
tie.
yep, that's better. Yep, yep.
And do a quick run on that and commit. All right, so we are going to commit and we say use equals in round and extract is tie. Very nice. Yeah, this is cleaning up this code. This is a beautiful refactor.
Yep, love it.
All right, we
So
have some dead
now,
code and I know how much you like to delete it, so I'll let you take the deletion.
yeah. So it's funny because it's not saying that it's. Oh no, it is. It's just the ID is not having. So now we can actually just come in here and we'll use Option F6, and now we can
So if
just
you
say, there, go ahead.
command delete will give you so command F6, no, command F6,
Oh,
right?
Command Delete in
And
this.
then yeah, and then command delete
Oh,
and command
right.
enter.
Then
Command
Command.
enter will hit the refactor. Yeah. I
There we
love that
go.
modal. Like I've spent time memorizing that modal because it helps so much to know the shortcut. Makes things
Right.
so easy.
And then the last thing I would say too is now we could rename this back to our. We can get rid of new. And usually, with doing a parallel change, I like doing something, make it super obvious that this is the new version of doing it. Sometimes I like just putting the number two. Now that's not very obvious, but you're like, two? Why is there a two there? It makes it so it doesn't live very long.
Yeah. So
No,
my
nothing
brain
wrong.
thinks opposite. I want to say the old one. I want to put old on the old one.
Oh
So
yeah,
then
yeah,
when I introduce the new one, it's the correct name. And because we know we're deleting old anyway.
yeah.
Um, so my brain goes opposite. But hey, both work and both are
I use
easy
both
and
too. It
worth
just kind of
copying.
depends on what's going on here.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so delete unused um round unused old shape hand shapes. Hand shapes in round. Okay. So
Now I think we could refactor our parameterized. Yeah.
yeah, do you want to take it?
And
We
I think
haven't
this
typed.
becomes, yeah. So it makes it super easy to just go here.
Yes. Ooh, I do know something interesting. That's okay though. Um,
Shape dot scissors, shape dot paper, shape dot scissors, and shape dot scissors. Uh-oh. Too click happy.
shape dot scissors and shape dot rock. Rock and roll. Run the test. Take a look at the test names. Return 3 for choosing object. So there's another thing that we should implement, and we can do it real quick, is just toString on shape. Honestly, instead of implementing it yourself, can you do Command N for code generation? I'm curious if WebStorm has this. In like Java, yeah, implement members. Okay, I don't remember if toString is a. They're
What
override
about
methods?
overriding?
No. Okay.
No.
Just implement toString. It's all good.
It's a good call though. toString.
Yep. Then we'll just return
And
this
guess what?
dot
It's
shape,
going to return a string.
which is what this dot shape is. You do need to write return though.
It's not Ruby? Come
It's not
on.
Ruby. Let's do Ruby next though. Yay. Okay, that works.
Yeah, look at all these useless return words. If we were in Ruby, we wouldn't have to do any of
Return, 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 return,
it. Or I
return.
guess Swift, we wouldn't have to either, right? Swift doesn't need return on one-line method.
Yeah, on one line methods. Yep.
Which should
That's
be the
not weird.
goal, right? It should be the goal.
I guess if
One
that's a
method.
way of provoking that design behavior, I guess I'm okay with it. Because I mean look at all of our methods, they're all one lines besides the method that we probably want to refactor.
Oh, this one?
This one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But literally, oh yeah, that's actually crazy. Like right now we're at like an 80% one line method. Um,
That's great.
beautiful. All right, that was a great change.
Da, 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 da. Change, refactor, test to use shape class as input.
And for those, maybe just because we're glancing over it too, in JavaScript, when you pass a string method or pass an object into like a string, it implicitly is going to call toString on it, as all objects should have it. That's why I was really weirded out that it didn't do anything. Um, like when we did command N, there was no code generation. So if you implement toString, that's how you can make R shape, even though it is an instance of a class, it still prints out the other thing.
And our IDE is even fun here. It says no usages, but it's also not grained it out. So it's like it knows it's used, but knows it's not used at the same time. Super
Yeah,
weird.
and
The thing,
toString is one of these things too, where like I wouldn't test toString unless toString was very, because right now we're only using toString as a way of observability of our code. We're looking at it inside of the test. Yeah, I'm good with that too. Um,
go to the
but so we didn't. That's why we didn't test drive toString, because we're not using it for behavior. It's really for observability, and we're not like hedging our bets on it. Um, it honestly should be like in Java, you can just command N generate toString, and that I usually don't test that then. Again, unless there's like I'm using it for a behavioral reason, which there has been times where I've done that.
yeah. Or like say you had like a person class, right? And the two name was first name plus last name, right? There's some logic there that might warrant a test.
Yeah,
The show that toString shows is not just first name, it's first name last. But there really is no logic here.
and we're not using it for anything, just observability, um,
Mhm.
developer observability too. Okay,
So the
so we're
one
done,
thing I
right?
think we are kind of done.
I'm just kidding.
I
Oh
kind
yeah,
of want to
yeah,
make a describe for shapes just to give us a little organization. So I actually
yeah.
think we've wrapped up shapes for a little bit.
That's not shaped. Everything else is.
And that's why I did it, because I was already getting confused.
And now you can probably. Oh no, because it's a function call. It doesn't know that you can't like close it as a tab. Oh no, you can. Bye bye. See, now I don't care. Okay, so now back to the main course here. I think the whole reason why we did that refactor was one, the logic in like total score was starting to get a little hairy. We wanted to have methods like is paper is scissors. Now we have them. The reason why we wanted those was we were starting to implement basically how do we determine what a win is. Um, so maybe we go back to the discovery tree for a sec. I definitely can tell you is tie is done. We have a test for that.
Yeah, we don't see any changes for that. So I actually think these are kind of both in progress because we're going to have to determine if we're winning or losing now.
Yes. Yeah. So I think we continue on adding on that. And really, if we determine all the win cases, if we then look at it and say, oh, we've won, these are all the times we've won, and this is the time we've drawn, then everything else is a loss. We might just get it for free, but I'd say we'll figure that out instead of thinking about it.
Yeah. So I think I really like this. So what if we just extract this right now to say is win?
Love it. Is win. Instead of is win is tie, can we say we win? Like is win. I guess like round doesn't to me convey that it's like is win is saying that one of the players wins.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Is tie makes sense because there's no winner. It's like tie for both. But is win, we have our shape. We win. This dot we win is also kind of funny. But to me, that conveys it a little bit better than like, oh, it's not the opponent wins. It's that we win. Um, does that make
Let's go
sense
with
to
it.
you?
Why not?
There might
Getting
be
ahead of
another way of
myself.
us
Control.
rewording round, but yeah, I don't know. Good enough for now.
Yeah. So looking at this though, we have a hard-coded 9, which means we're assuming we play paper or we play scissors and they play paper. So I think we need to go through and try to actually get a score here that is a different win for us to force
Yep.
a different score.
So lines, yeah, I think we just let's make another one of those.
So if we play paper and they play rock, what is our score going to be? So we know from our shape class,
Oh, and it's six and the other thing, right?
yep, 6 plus 2. So I kind of actually even like calling that out, like we did in our bowling.
Would it? Hmm. I'm wondering if it would make sense to just test that independently too, just the win. But let's try it
You
out. Let's
want
try it out
do
and
you
see if it's.
do you want to test this independently to determine wins?
Hmm. You know what? Let's try it out one more time and we'll see kind of like is it confusing? Because then maybe yeah. Let's leave it in the back of our minds. Let's just go over it that way first.
Yep. I'm going to go ahead and break these down
Three plus
to show that
three,
we're
3 plus 3 plus
technically
0
these
because it's a
zero.
loss. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and our little IDE is going to give us a
Yeah.
nice helpful hint there, but we don't want it.
Thank you, ID.
All right, let's fail and test.
Okay.
Let you take over.
So yes, there's kind of, and this is the thing where I was getting at with the maybe there's two things we're checking here. One, I want to just make this work, but there's two things we have to do. One, we have a hard coded return 9, and two, we need to determine the we win. I'm wondering actually, can we do this first? I'm gonna delete this. Or comment it out. Can we comment it out? Hey. Um, so the reason why I wanted to do that was right now we win is implicitly you've done it here, the 6 plus 3, but we have not done it over here. So this 9 actually is 6 or what this dot r shape dot score plus 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's just a refactor. So the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want to do both those things in one commit. So now this is actually now representing more of how we kind of broke it down in the test, which kind of like, um,
Yeah, but we had to get a triangulation test somewhat, right? So we kind of did that without a triangulation test.
true. Yeah. Um,
But this is a simple enough code base. Those leaps are fine. It's just worth calling out exceptions to
it's mostly just now I
understand.
don't have two reasons to make the red test green. So I mean, this is kind of
Mhm.
like triangulation is a nice way of determining what the implementation is. Since we know what the implementation is, really what we're doing here is removing duplication between the tests and
Mhm.
the production code. So the duplication is that the test is looking for the hard coded value of 9, and the production value has the hard coded value of 9. Instead, we remove the hard coded value. But yeah, our triangulation, our next test will basically determine that. But I'm going to just say use our shape score to remove duplication in we win from tests. Right. Um, cool. I know I had the comment out. I don't want to push comment. So now we're back to the failing test, and I am still okay doing that. So the simplest possible here would be just check for those two things, call it a win, right? If
Mhm.
this dot opponent shape is rock and this dot R shape is paper, we're going to return true. Yay! Um, we win when applying this commit will um, add win for opponents
Paper versus rock, if you don't want to write that much.
for paper versus rock. Thank you. Okay.
I'm liking your idea of extracting, like, if we want to make and test we win independently, but I feel like if we're going to do that, we win and tie almost kind of feel like a domain, like, right? It feels almost like a strategy pattern or uh, like a scoring mechanism because you could change the rules, right? Like
Hmm.
it feels like almost like a rules class, or like apply the game rules to these two, and the round is holding kind of everything and scoring them. And so it feels like to me, if we wanted to test it rather than just making it public, it always feels weird to like, let's just make this public because we want to test it directly. It usually is screaming to me, right, that we need to extract it and think of a domain level class. And to me, it is the logic of determining whether you win or lose. So the round to me is holding the shapes and scoring. The shape is holding it of what it is and its own
Yeah.
score. So like then this is saying how do two shapes play together? And so like that seems like round then that's doing too much, right? It's holding everything and scoring, and then also and determining wins. So like if we want to extract that out, I think it would be where I'd go eventually. I know this is a simple case and we could definitely pause on that, but I just wanted to kind of bring that
Yeah.
thought into the conversation of like I think we win and is tie should go somewhere else if we wanted to.
I actually think I agree that the implementation goes somewhere else, and that probably makes sense. I actually don't think it's unreasonable to consider that a round would expose if it's like who won with the round. Because if you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, who won, and then who like what's the total score for the person too? I know right now our public interface is really just the score because we want that for the final test. But I actually don't mind having like a round should know if we look at this from a domain standpoint. I think it knowing if somebody who won or if it was a tie isn't that unreasonable. But I
Sure.
agree that the implementation. I like having your public interface class be the thinnest. It really doesn't have a lot of logic in it. It's actually just dispatching to other objects. So I love that idea too. Um, but then, okay, what's the small step towards that? Do we make it public and then by usage we'll kind of figure out where it makes sense to abstract it or
I think we just go and we just like we did with shape class. Can we just make a new class with a win and a with a tie? And kind of do a parallel change and refactor to it, just like we did with the shape class. Because I do agree, I like your notion around should know who wins, but I think that just means it becomes delegation,
yeah, delegation.
and then we can expose it in the round when we need to if we put it in parallel.
Mhm.
But if you
Okay.
want to expose it and test it, then that's great too.
No, I'm good with that. I'm just trying to think, what would it be called? Or I guess what's actually, you know what? Let's do it this way. Um, navigate me towards the first step. What should we do first?
Let's write it. Let's do a new describe block,
Okay.
and we'll say something something. Yeah, applesauce. Great. And so it determines tie.
Okay. Uh, so okay, expect uh thing
New. Yeah,
or yeah,
that is
new
tie. Yeah,
new
yeah,
something. New applesauce. That is tie to
yeah,
be true.
yeah. And I
Okay.
think applesauce would have to take in two shapes. So shape scissor, or rock, or whatever. Pick your fancy of which one we want to.
Yeah, that's fine. Create class, and we're gonna move it over here. And we'll put it right here. And we would have these all be in separate files, but for the sake of making things a little bit easier, we're gonna just put them in the same file. All right, and then I just need to export this. Okay, we've got applesauce, and now we don't have his tie though. Wait, I'm implementing it. Do you want to rotate?
Yeah, making it compile is always an interesting determinant on if when you switch with ping pong, and I'm happy to go either way.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm good with the making it compile because I think that is really the failing test here, especially when doing something new.
we'll come up with better names on those. So is
Yep.
tie, and we know it already because we have this up here. So the shape this dot, man, this dot. Oh, they're not private. Look at that.
Yep. Yeah, and this is a good example. Like we could put the simplest possible, putting true in there. I do think, and it's dot equals. However, we're moving logic, so putting in the
Yeah, we
real
already
implement
have the
doesn't
the
bother me.
implementation.
Yep.
And I'm
And
curious too, like looking at this, is it valuable for us to even have a constructor? And I know we don't typically like static classes, but if you can think about like you just want to run some things through a rules engine, but I guess if you want the one copy of rules engine for the whole round, maybe, yeah, I don't know.
yeah, I would say let's play with it. We'll figure it out.
Mm,
Right now, we're in a place where things work, and I think wiring it
yep,
up is going to give us better feedback than
yeah,
wiring it up with the real production code will give us the best feedback.
yeah. So we have this. It passes. Seems like a commit.
Yep.
Do you have a better name for applesauce before we commit?
I don't. This is the thing. I'm round. I think is what I would call it, which is what we have above.
So this is the score. This is like the rule. This is the rule determinator. This is the rule. Something about with the rules, right? Because it's the one determining who wins.
Yeah. So one thing that I like doing in this case when you're struggling for a name is, if this was a real system, usually you start like people talk about the system in different ways. And in that language, there's a lot of nouns that are thrown around. And those nouns end up shaping what the domain is. In this case, we have from we have that sheet of like the story kind of telling us how everything works, the advent
Mhm.
of code. I usually just like reading that and being like, "Oh, what nouns are in here?" And that's usually a good way of figuring out how to program this because then if things ever change, we're all using the same ubiquitous language, and it makes things a lot clearer than having to like map in my programmer brain and my like human regular talking brain the different concepts. So maybe we could open up the advent of code like question sheet and see is there a noun in there? I mean, we got round from that.
The winner for the round is selected. Round ends in a draw. We have tie.
Yep.
See, to me, this like the winner for that round is selected, and it tells us again the rules or the table of stuff. So to
Why
me,
don't we
this
why don't
comes up.
we
This
call it
is the
round?
rules.
Why don't we call it round rules for now? I think you've been using the word rules for a little bit.
I
Let's try
know
that out.
because I that's what's
I don't
stuck
think
in
it's
my
coming.
brain for
I
sure.
don't- Let's just try it. It's better than applesauce. That's always the fun thing with naming, and that's why I like using applesauce. Yeah, I got that from Jay Bazuzzi. Shout out. Uh, Jay Bazuzzi and Llewellyn Falco did a stream, and they just refactored everything to applesauce without thinking. And that's because it's a terrible name, and you look at it, and you're like, I really don't want applesauce here. But then you, we tried using it, and then we started to get a little bit more of an idea of what it is. So it just makes things a lot easier.
Implement.
Cool.
I'm noticing the time. I knew you had a hard stop in a couple minutes. Do we want to maybe start with a failing test because I think win is next. We
Actually,
can,
could we maybe as a I think we could do two things. One, let's
you know,
get rid of the duplication first. So let's use round rules there. Just because this is a total refactor, should just work. So new round rules, pass in this dot opponent shape and this dot R shape. Dot is tie. Beautiful.
there you go.
Awesome. I like that because now we're actually using it. Yeah, I like that idea. Let's add a skipped test for the win method.
Determines winner. Shape dot scissors. Shape dot.
Actually, we don't have shape dot scissors and paper yet.
Oh, you want us to
Which is
pick one that we do have? So paper
I
and
wanted
rock.
that just so we move logic. We're separating moving
No,
logic from adding
that's
behavior. So it would be rock and paper, not rock and rock.
I guess paper rock.
Oh, paper rock. Sorry.
Who wins? So what do we want? What do we want this to be?
So who wins? Yeah, so this is yeah, I think hmm. That's the weird
Our
thing. Like we could do like weird indexing. I honestly think we just keep the we win and like right now what we have is the first argument is our our input and the other one. I think trying to create like if we look at this problem, we don't have to
yep.
ever score theirs. I'd say let's just keep it at we win just to make things simpler. Otherwise, we have to
All right.
introduce like indexing and weird stuff like that, which the problem doesn't have.
I made the we win just to make the test pass and we can actually see the failure for the right reason. Yeah, and
Yay.
thought I like this idea as well. So I think to real quickly, and I know that we shouldn't do it in red, but it's just a quick rename. But that way it's going to match with our shape and opponent shape on.
Well, actually, what's funny is this is bad about argument parameters. Look at line 21. The first argument
One,
you're passing in is opponent
two.
shape. You put it,
I
they're in
know.
the, that's not good. So yes, there is a problem with continuing to do this. However, I think with just the state of the actual problem, doing anything more complicated is not worth it. There's a
Yep.
concept that we like to use called Yagni. You aren't going to need it. Our problems have no we. There's no reason why we need to know if the opponent won, because the opposite of that is we lost. So I think keeping everything in the language of whether we've won, whether we've tied, whether we've lost makes things simpler. But love it. Yeah, I really I like this round rules. I think what I like about it is we've separated the Boolean logic of who wins, who loses, who ties, or whether we tie from the scoring. So I think that's nice.
Yeah, again, when we look at something and we're like, man, I want to make this public so we can test it independently. That to me is always, well, what can we extract here?
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Okay, beautiful.
I think that's I checked in. We had the ignored test. I do think before next Sunday, maybe I'll make a few new files for us because this is getting a little long, even though they're all simple. Might be helpful. I think we're done with shape, so if we just move shape out, it'd reduce a lot of
If you want to just
noise.
do it
And
right
then we're
now,
just
go for
looking
it.
at,
I mean, it's just F6, right? Or
yep,
yeah, F6. Take hand shape with it.
yep.
Boom. Yeah, yeah. I like this. I like this change
And that way it just gives us a little bit of, we have round and round rules kind of together.
for
Kind of
now.
split
Yeah,
the
yeah.
file in half, yeah, and we're done here.
And then
We're
we'll move
mostly
round
done here.
rules to its own file at some point too. Yep, like it. Yeah, and I think if you know this wasn't streaming, I'd be a lot more just making everything its own file. I think for the sake of making it easier to navigate, like having the tests all in the same file probably makes sense. Cool.
Yeah, there's a little bit of concession here to make sure we're not jumping 18 different files everywhere.
But I like having a billion files because when I don't need to look at shapes, I don't need to look at shapes. Get that out of here. Cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thanks
Well,
for
thanks
watching,
everyone
everybody.
for joining us. Yeah.